Instead of a long-term rental, what's the advantage? Because everybody wants to be a landlord. I want to have 50 single-family homes that pay me passive income forever. Okay. Well, you got to have a lot of money to have 50 homes. You got to have a lot of leverage to have 50 homes. Right now, you're paying a lot of taxes. Real estate taxes is really high. And so then somebody can destroy your house in a heartbeat, and you got to pay money to fix it. So what's the difference between that and a short-term rental?
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the RLT Pivot Podcast. My name is Tracy, and I am joined with my incredible co-host, Mr. Dan Jensen. How are you doing, sir?
Doing absolutely fantastic. We got Dean Inniss in the house, managing partner at Your Best Life Now.
So let's talk about another passive income stream.
Let's.
Franchise purchases. Okay. There are people that are always advertising for capital. Banks are pain in the derriere to get money from. So if people can get capital from people that have capital, even in small amounts, they will do it. So there are franchise opportunities all over the place. You just have to keep your ears and eyes open. And here's the beauty of a franchise. Every small business in the United States, what's the chance of failure in 2 years for a small business starting out?
Pretty high.
80%, right? The chance of success of a franchise is exactly the opposite, 85 to 90%. Okay.
Wow.
So you mitigate risk. Is it a hard asset? No, right? Because you're generally not buying the real estate. You're buying the formula. That's what you're buying. Right. But here's the beauty of franchises. You have a good safety factor, right? You get a good ROI. In general, franchises pay 15 to 20% per year. We're talking passive income, right? Because you're buying into the franchise, somebody's running it, you're a partner or owner, and you get distributions based on profitability. That tends to be 15 to 20%, right? Valuation of franchises is really good. At the end of 2 years, it's 4 to 5 times the EBITDA. So that's a really good valuation. So not only do you get cash flow, but you build an asset that has good positive valuations. So that sounds really good, right? It sounds great. Where do I get a franchise? Where do I get a franchise?
It sounds great. And Dean, just so you know, I don't know if you saw the episode that we did on franchise, but we had Marty Greenbaum, who is a franchise consultant.
That one I didn't see.
There you go. He was on the show. So we will put a link. Yeah, we'll put a link right here for that video for anyone that's interested in learning more about franchises.
I'm not going to bore you then if you guys know all the good stuff about it.
Oh, no, you've already shed some light on some additional stuff that was not talked about in that episode. So keep going. Yep.
Good.
Good. Yep.
Good. Okay. So what do you look for in a franchise? Okay. You got to every investment in passive income stream. The key word that I want to drill down to everybody is underwrite. If you don't know how to underwrite it, find somebody that'll help you underwrite it. There are a lot of people out there that will help you underwrite. There are a lot of people that won't charge you a ton of money to help you underwrite. There are tons of resources related to these things that will help you underwrite. But let's go through a quick crash course. Number one, brand. You got to have a really good brand. And everything I tell you, got to look 3 to 5 years out. So you have to look at the economy, you have to look at that brand, and you have to say, okay, if I take AI, if I take robotics, if I take where the Americans' tastes are going, is it still going to be a successful brand? That's number one. Number two, the brand is great, but if you put it in the wrong market, you're screwed. So number two in successful franchise investment is market. And what does that mean? You want the demographic that matches the brand. You want the income level that matches the brand. You want when I said demographic, we're talking age and income and location, right? I could have a brand that does really well in Beverly Hills and I put it in Wyoming and it's going to be a yawner because nobody wants to do it. Nobody's going to pay $1,800 for a stupid purse. But if you put it in Beverly Hills, cha-ching, right? So brand, market. And the third thing is execution. So who's the team that's buying it? Just like the syndications, I told you to underwrite the team. It's the same with this. Underwrite these people. Do they have experience in business? Do they have experience in that? Are they capitalized other than the capital that they want to learn? People freak out when somebody says, well, if they don't have the capital to do it, then why would I do it? Most people that are smart share risk. And if they can be invested, they could even be a majority investor, but they want to have some offset of risk. That is smart policy. Wouldn't you guys agree?
100%.
Okay. But that smart policy gives opportunity for passive income streams. So you buy a good franchise in a good place, and every 10 years, they're going to renew it. They're going to refresh it. They're going to do those things. And every year you're going to get a check. And every year the valuation goes up. Great passive income. Do you have to have $1 million? No. You just look for the right opportunities. I remember when Subway came out, it's not the opportunity it was, but when Subway came out, and then you guys are probably too young to remember this, they wanted to have 5,000 units in the United States in like 5 years. And from a franchise standpoint, they were the most approachable franchise possible. You didn't have to have $2.5 million in net worth and initial investment of this. You try and buy McDonald's now, forget it. But there are opportunities. And so I would encourage you to look for those. Here's the risks. Okay. Bad execution, bad location. They didn't pay attention to cost controls. The management team did not follow the Bible of a franchise. And the reality is that's where the money is. If you're going to get into a franchise, it's because of the brand and because they already have the SOPs, they already have the job descriptions, they already have laid out what is successful. That's why there's a complete reversal of success of a franchise versus starting your own business. Okay.
Incredible.
So I would look for those. Let's talk about an easy one that everybody wants to talk about. Do you guys have any questions on franchises?
No, I think we're good. But
how are we doing on time?
We have exactly 12 minutes. We have exactly 12 minutes left.
For the hour?
Yep.
Holy crap. Okay.
It flies. It goes quick.
It does. Okay. So I'm going to mix things up a little bit here. All right. Short-term rentals. Okay. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Airbnbs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about them because they're a hot button, right? And here's what you got to look for. Instead of a long-term rental, what's the advantage? Because everybody wants to be a landlord. I want to have 50 single-family homes that pay me passive income forever. Okay. Well, you got to have a lot of money to have 50 homes. You got to have a lot of leverage to have 50 homes. Right now, you're paying a lot of taxes. Real estate taxes is really high. And so then somebody can destroy your house in a heartbeat and you got to pay money to fix it. So what's the difference between that and a short-term rental? Well, there's a lot. First of all, you buy a house. This is a house, right? But you have the opportunity to earn 3 to 4 times what you would on a long-term lease on short-term rentals. And that's because you're renting it on a nightly basis instead of a monthly basis. And the cost to get hotels and everything right now is really high, which benefits Airbnbs because they can be a little lower and still be really high. Imagine having a house where you would rent it for $1,700 a month, but it's got 3 bedrooms, a garage, and it's got something really nice in the backyard where you could take your dog and your kids. And instead of $1,700 a month, you get $200 a night, and you rent it 60% of the time. How much is that?
Huge.
12,000 versus 1,700. Now you have cleaning fees, you have management fees through Airbnb, but it is enormous potential to liquidate the debt at a very fast pace. So then you have a longer term passive income stream. Even if later you convert it to an SFR and you just rent it, it's already paid for. So you've ensured your margin stability. So the reason why I look at short-term rentals for people that are just starting versus a long-term lease is your cost to get in is exactly the same, right? If you have a long-term, it's 20% down. So if you're going to put 20% down, it's the same for an Airbnb or it's a long-term rental. What's the big difference though? What if you could pay it off instead of 30 years, you pay it off in 6 or 5?
Huge.
Then passive income, which Dean loves passive income. I love it. When you said that, I was like, yeah, I got it. What do you want to talk about? So now it sounds really good, but there's some risk, and risks are huge in this. Okay. Number one, you have to know where you're going to get your clients. So location becomes even more important with an Airbnb, right? I thought my neighbor was crazy for wanting to put an Airbnb next to me in my neighborhood. I'm like, what the hell? But you know what? There was a teaching nursing school half a mile away. So he gets nurses that come here and rent for 6 months on a nightly because they get to write it all off on their taxes. And he just made 4 times what somebody does renting all of the time next door. And I'm like, okay, I apologize. But you got
really lucky, or he really knew his stuff.
He got lucky. He did get lucky. But I learned from him.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to learn. We talked about that at the beginning, right? Learning, always learn. You know, I'm 60 years old. I spend more time learning now than I ever did in my life. And it's paying off huge. I'm just telling you, it's huge. So short-term rentals. Okay. What are the risks? Okay. Damage. Okay. And instead of damage monthly or when they leave, it could be damaged every weekend or whatever. So you have to have a really good cleaning crew and property maintenance crew. And if you have those things, it's really positive. So it's worth the investment to do that. Those are the risks though. If it dries out and you can do it for 3 years, and then all of a sudden somebody wants the newer, nicer Airbnb next door and they're undercutting your price, then you could convert it to a long-term lease, but you've already paid for it. So you've insured your passive income stream.
Yep. It's absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
Dean,
so
we are absolutely going to have to reschedule you to come back for an additional episode, I think, because you've got a tremendous amount of awesome information for all of the people that are listening right now. So I've enjoyed listening to you. I hope our audience has enjoyed listening to you. Would you consider coming back another time?
For a small fee, absolutely. No.
There you go. Passive income.
I would.
Pivot Podcast is your new passive income stream.
First and foremost, Jeremy serves our group enormously. So yeah, I was kidding about the fee. I would love to serve you guys and your group any way I can. I've been very blessed. I don't have to work anymore because of some of the strategies we talk about.
Yeah.
But I love my job now, first and foremost, and a lot of people aren't going to like this. I had 75 employees. Oh my God, how happy am I now? I have 5. They're spread all over the world. They're contract and they're very self-motivated. It's an amazing thing. So I'm happy every day. I love to get up every day. I love talking to people like you and helping others. It's a great thing. Okay.
We're going to put all of your contact information below as well. So anyone that wants to reach out to you, they can do so.
Oh, you're killing me.
You have to hire some more people to talk to him.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do now? I can go through another one that I think is really cool.
We do not have time.
Cell phone. Stop it, Win. You're not getting my cell phone. No, stop. Stop it.
No cell phones. No, won't do that. Just the information that Dean has provided. But Dean, unfortunately, there's going to be somebody jumping in here shortly. So we do have to end the show, and Dan will take it away.
Yeah. Appreciate having you on. What you guys don't know is Dean actually has a list of 100 passive income things. So we got to 4 so far. But what's more importantly, look at those pages. What's more important is we got some really good ones right now that you guys might have thought about before or have to revisit, relook at. And I'm hoping you guys grab something. Like Tracy said, Dean, we'll get you back for another episode because I want to complete this list like that. Now that's like on my bucket list. We got to complete this list. And there's enormous value everywhere. Keep in mind, guys, if you have not seen Pivot Podcast or you fell behind on some, make sure you guys click the links, the videos up above. We'll take you to the next one, and you guys can watch all those. Dean, appreciate having you on. We'll see you guys next time. Everybody that watches Pivot Podcast each and every week, thank you guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, guys.